Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Swoop podcast. It's your guest for the night, Dante Freeman. I'm here with my partner,
Josh Sanchez.
and tonight for our show we have a special guest and my brother Daniel Fantuzzi. Give him a quick shout out, bro.
Hey, what's going on, CBU?
Um, uh, all right. So we're gonna hit a lot of topics for tonight's show. Our first topic we're gonna talk about is: do you think NBA players are overpaid?
Definitely, without a doubt.
Yeah, I think they're overpaid without a doubt too.
Yeah. I mean, superstar players, I believe, are paid to their talent, but there are a whole bunch of role players such as Evan Turner and Alan Krabby, for instance, are just completely overpaid and don't deserve as much money as they've gotten over this past year.
And the way how the NBA gives their contracts, I think like professional sports should do like what football does, and like what the NFL does. You have to play every game to earn your money. Like for NFL football players, you get guaranteed money. That's a lock in.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to earn the rest of your contract, you got to play all 16 games. And we see with NBA players, like they're just like MLB players. They get paid like hundreds of millions of dollars just to, like, they're supposed to give their best effort night in and night out. But sometimes they'll take a day off to rest.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for the most part, for like, I understand superstars getting paid a lot because, or especially LeBron James, because
LeBron James' whole career has not gotten paid as much as he should. He's taking a pay cut his whole career.
He's the best player in our generation. Like
I can't necessarily agree with that. I don't mean to cut you guys off. When you come out of high school and you got $1 million contract with Nike.
No, but I'm talking basketball money.
I mean,
that's just, non-basketball money that he's getting paid off of advertisements, sneaker deals, clothing deals. I'm talking basketball money. Basketball money, and he's taking a pay cut his whole career. When he went to Miami, he took a pay cut just to play with D Wade and Chris Bosh, and then took another pay cut just to bring Ray Allen on the team. Here, when he signed back with Cleveland, he took another pay cut so they can trade for Kevin Love. And
no, Kevin Love was already over before this happened. I mean, it's all in the makes, LeBron's 2-year, $45 million. Why not? Right now, with the salary cap, let's use, for instance, Anthony Davis.
But before you go there, though, remember, Kevin Durant, I don't mean to cut you off, but Kevin Durant's getting 2 years, $56 million?
That's because the salary cap just went up last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's going up.
Now, that's like, for instance, this guy, Russell Westbrook. He just signed a 3-year, $80 million contract. Like, why? You put this big target on your back. But let's say, for instance, God forbid, injury happens. You're still hit for that money.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to find a good replacement at all because you're already embedded to this man for $80 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, next year, salary cap's supposed to go even higher. Like, what type of target are you putting on your back as an NBA superstar to receive this type of money? You're robbing the fans. If you're not able to go out there day in and day out.
But Russell Westbrook goes day in and day out and gives a performance.
Yeah, you can use the Spurs and Warriors game like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, Kawhi Leonard has an excuse why he's out. He's in concussion.
But the Warriors set their four best players.
Iguodala, Green, and Klay Thompson.
Now that's a robbery to the fans.
Exactly.
Like San Antonio's.
But I don't think players getting big contracts are robbery to the fans.
At whom?
I think all right, how can I best explain this? The money that these players are getting paid shows the commitment from the fans. Like, without all of this money, where else are you going to get it from? The fans paid for everything.
True, but on that same topic, the fans are what push superstar NBA players to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
They deserve something in return, whether it's a title, whether it's them performing every night, whether it's them helping out in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you see on some type of commercials sometimes that they do help out.
You got the NBA cares.
Yes.
But I feel as though every NBA superstar, all-star, should hold up to their potential and help out. They're getting more income off of jerseys, off of sneaker sales, off of commercials. Why? Because of the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't they do something as small in return? Something we'll just never know. But hopefully one day we'll meet somebody that's in the NBA and they'll be able to explain it to us all.
And I mean, there's been examples of superstar players that have contributed, like Kevin Durant when Oklahoma City had those tornadoes.
Yeah, he donated about $2 million?
Yeah, $2 million. So, like, there's some players that do it, but I agree with you. Like, most of the players, once they get that big deal, they kind of just keep it to themselves, which does make sense because they worked so hard to get to this point. But I do agree with what you're saying. Like, they should give back a little bit more to the fans and to the community around them.
You know,
like my man Dikembe Mutombo, I don't mean to cut you off. He went back home and built a hospital. That's great. Like, you don't hear people doing that at all.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Players back then, when they were drafted, they played for that team, for that city. They wore it on their heart. Nowadays, hey, buddy, you want to play? We can all play together.
I get what your point.
You know, back then it was, you got drafted, you didn't choose where you wanted to go. You got there, you fought with your team day in, day out. Now it's, I want to go play with my best friend. Or I want to go play with a high school teammate. Or I want to go where the best weather's at. You know, and then you get categorized. Like, you go there, you go to Miami, for instance. You have the best lifestyle. Now you're getting overpaid. But that same player that's playing better than you that year is getting underpaid for a city that he doesn't even like being in.
See, now, when I was in high school, I heard this saying by a high school basketball coach, which, you know, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be the same terms, but in different words. For high school ball players, your senior year, obviously you commit to a college. And I heard the saying, a commitment is going to make you or break you. In the NBA, a contract is going to make you or break you. That big deal contract is going to make you or it's going to break you. Because how many times do we hear about these superstar athletes, well, not even superstar athletes, but top athletes in their sport, they're getting paid all this money, and then their playing just goes downhill. So that's where it comes into the term, a contract is going to make you or break you. As in the same thing as it would in high school basketball. A commitment is going to make you or break you. So, yeah.
It also has to do a lot with the media. The media overhypes a player. I'm going to say, for instance, PG-13.
Whoa.
This is going to be his 7th year in the league. And this is the first time he's getting a sneaker. This guy's been good since he's came out of college.
Okay, I thought he was going to talk bad on him.
No, he's not going to talk bad.
No, not at all.
I mean, this year has been a down year for him.
Kyrie just got his first sneaker. Why? He's been good since he came into the NBA. He started on his own team.
Better than John Wall.
You know, Damian Lillard. He just got his first sneaker. They're getting more endorsement money now than, let's say, when LeBron first came out, when Jordan first came out, when AI first came out. The media plays a big role into which players get that superstar money. Next year, with the salary cap even going higher, what is there to prove? These players aren't going to give it their best.
Yeah, and now with the salary cap increasing, now there's going to be more odds of more super teams emerging. And, like, that's, like, the big difference from old-fashioned basketball to nowadays is now everyone wants to join forces and create, like, super teams now. Whereas in the past, like, you would play for the team you get drafted for. Like that's why it's surprising to see what Kobe Bryant went through and, like, what Tim Duncan staying their whole careers for just one franchise. Now we see players like LeBron go to a super team, Durant go to a super team. You had that big three in Boston for a little bit.
I got to cut you short there.
It was a super team.
LeBron never went to a super team, though.
He went to Miami.
it wasn't considered a super team though. Remember when he went to Miami, it was just Dwayne Wade there. You can't compare what him and Kevin Durant did
Yeah.
what Kevin Durant did, he went to already a team that doesn't need him. They were already in the finals the previous 2 years with a 2-time MVP and arguably the best defensive player in the NBA.
I'm not gonna compare them to, but I'm just saying LeBron started that trend. Like he was one of the players that started, like, all right, let's play with my buddies now and let's get a ring together. And like he went with Dwayne Wade, then Chris Bosh went, so they had their own big three, because he realized he couldn't win it by himself in Cleveland. Cleveland just didn't have enough around him to win.
Now, what do you call the big three when the Celtics had it between Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce?
Yeah. Those three were good players. All three of them. Kevin Garnett was superstar talent. Paul Pierce was, in my eyes, a superstar talent.
I take that first big three.
And then you have Rondo in
as
the mix too.
three players
Rondo was
that won a championship.
Mm-hmm.
The way I see it now is friends wanting to be with friends.
Mm-hmm.
That first big three did it because they wanted to win. Now it's, okay, I want to go play with my buddy over there.
But you can't make the same case for LeBron when he joined the Heat. I mean,
LeBron played out his contract in Cleveland. He was able to go to wherever he wanted to. Now, Miami, I can't blame him for going there because they weren't a 500 team. They were not a playoff team.
mm-hmm.
He went there. Dwayne Wade basically gave him the baton and said, this is your team.
After the first season, I believe.
Chris Bosh came over. Just happened to be, it was the same year. Just happened to be that they're best of friends.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't compare LeBron and Kevin Durant in the same topic.
No, I wasn't gonna compare that. I was just saying like the trend.
Yeah, I get your point.
The
I
trend of
definitely do.
like the big three and like
Yeah.
you gotta have like more than one All-Star now on a team. That's why like when Dirk won his chip against the Heat, like he had
He
Tyson.
won that by himself.
He won that chip. Like he had Jason Terry, but Jason Terry was a role player.
Yeah,
You
Jason
can't
Terry,
forget
Jason
our
Kidd,
Puerto Rican boy,
JJ Barrera.
JJ Barea.
the smallest man on the court with the biggest heart ever.
Mm-hmm.
Shout outs to that man.
See, now, our conversation now is just going to lead right into our next topic. We're talking about big name players going to, top franchises to build a super team. But our next topic was going to be, we're just going to roll right into it. Why can't the Sixers get a big name free agent and a superstar player to their roster
Like as of today.
as of today? Now, I'm going to let you guys start off with this first because I want to go last.
I mean, I feel like the issue now is like, I mean, we are starting to have pieces around us now that's going to attract a superstar in the future. But right now, we are not even close to making the playoffs this year. We're towards the bottom of the standings. So, and then the trade deadline also did pass, like as of today. So, but like even when the trade deadline was like around that time, no one wanted to come to Philly because they knew like this was still going to be a year of rebuild. Embiid's injury, Simmons not playing. It is like our last like rebuild year for me. I mean, next year I think it's not going to be considered a rebuild year, but we're going to have our ups and we're going to have our downs because we're a very young team. But I think in the future we'll probably we might be able to attract a superstar player because we got to see how Simmons plays with Embiid, and if they end up playing really well together, someone else is going to want to join that mix. Mm-hmm. But as of today, right now, we're not a playoff team. Our big name players are injured, so I don't know why a superstar player would want to come to Philly right now.
Mm-hmm.
I see it as we sucked.
Which is the
Nobody
truth.
wants to come to a losing team. Nobody right now has that heart to say, I'm going to turn that franchise around. They don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Look where we're at. In the middle of nowhere. Cold streets of Philly. People rather go to the sunny
hot weather.
People rather go to L.A., a lot of fashion, a lot of celebrities. To come here and to prove to be a winner is something special. You can't go nowhere else besides here, and probably I would say Milwaukee, where it's cold and don't nobody want to go and prove that you have what it takes to become a legit NBA superstar. Now, do I believe we have, like Josh said, we have Simmons, we have Embiid now, we have Jalil that I love, even though he's fat and slow like me. I love Jalil, but he has to get better.
He needs to get more athletic.
I believe as a sixth man coming off the bench, averaging the 18 points and 5 rebounds, I would take it any given night. For the simple fact is, we don't know how Joel Embiid will last for 62 games.
82.
Well, I'm giving him 62 because he's going to have to take a break. Like, that man's knees, if you try to play him for a whole season, we'll cut his NBA career down by 8 years. Just because he's injury prone. So I'd rather say 62 games with him. Like I said, we do have key pieces that will attract big-time market names. But you also got to remember, the Sixers for years has overpaid people. One year, we had 3 coaches and 2 players that were retired that were still getting paid from us. Jim O'Brien, Larry Brown, Todd McCullough, Matt Geiger. Seriously? They get overpaid coming here. Whenever they hear the Sixers, they think of a big check. It's the only reason why they come here. Like Elton Brand and Andre Iguodala. We hand them both $80 million the same year. What did they do? Absolutely nothing. But now that we have Embiid, now that we have Ben Simmons, we have key players like Robert Covington that I like. TJ
McConnell. Sorry, pardon me.
I like him.
It's my boy.
I grew to like him. I'm not going to lie about that. I grew to like him. But I feel as though we're one NBA draft player away and one, now I'm not going to say superstar, I'm going to say all-star away from turning this franchise around. Do I like the direction they're going in? Yes. Do I love the coach and Brett Brown? Of course. He came from San Antonio, the best team in America.
They got that system.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Wins every time.
Now, go ahead. You can finish. You want me to go? All right. Let's get this straight, guys. The Sixers have sucked the last 3 years prior to this year.
Yeah, and just to add to your point real quick before you get started, since we got rid of Nerlens Noel in that trade, pretty much that 2012-2013 season was, you might as well just delete the season. Now, it was a waste of a year.
Now, we all know, not only did they suck, they tanked the last 3 years prior to this year. Because this year, you really can't say it's a tank season when we have just about 22, 23 wins. Okay?
Still bad.
It is. But, I mean, compared to the last 3 seasons that we've had, the reason why I say we can't and haven't gotten a big-name superstar over here, I don't think it's the city, because I think the city of Philadelphia is a great city. It has great history to it with Allen Iverson in the sports, Donovan McNabb, if you're going to continue to go sports, and so long. And you also have the Rocky statue, the Liberty Bell, the great cheesesteaks here in Philly. I just think it's the basketball team that nobody wants to play for. Because if you think about it, we haven't gotten any veterans since the year we fired Doug Collins. Since we fired Doug Collins, which was the 2012-2013 season, we've had 0 veterans. We've went young every single year. Now, do you think, let's say, for instance, if Paul George was to become a free agent at the end of the season, superstar talent in my eyes, you really think he's going to want to come to play with the Sixers with a TJ McConnell, who's not an all-star guard, or Robert Covington, or Jahlil Okafor? All of these players still need time to develop. And for a guy like Paul George, who said over the All-Star break he wants to win and he wants to win now, you're not going to get that here in Philly because all of our guys, one, are still young, still need to develop, and still need to learn the game of basketball. It's gotten so bad that Adam Silver had to step in and redirect the team in a different direction. The Sixers needed to get Jerry Colangelo and his son to come to the Sixers. Like, are you serious? It's gotten so bad that the NBA commissioner has to come. And the point that I was trying to make, if you get a big name superstar playing with young guys, he's not going to want to do it. For prime example, LeBron James. LeBron James committed to go back to Cleveland. The same year they drafted Andrew Wiggins. Now, there was talk saying that LeBron James and Andrew Wiggins can grow together and play together. But no, LeBron wants to win now. So what did he do? He got the trade of Andrew Wiggins to go to Minnesota and Kevin Love to come to Cleveland. These superstar talent players don't want to play with the young guys that still need time to develop because they want to win now.
Now you can add to the young guys by that in college. You know how they have that 1 year and out deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like players come from 1 year. Do you think they should extend that and make them play 2-3 years in college and then come out? Because we see now, I think the Sixers are the got the negative effect of the one and done thing because we see with injuries now. Like Simmons had. None of our guys we drafted in the first round like have played like a full season. If you think about it, Noel ACL injury, Embiid these past 2 years, Simmons this year.
No, I know what you're saying, but I can't necessarily agree with it has to be extended like they do for college football. College football, you have to get at least 3 years of experience underneath your belt before you can enter the draft. That's that rule, but like in the NBA, I'm fine with one and done players. I just don't think I understand your point where you're trying to get with the injuries and whatnot, but I just think that's on the player. I mean, just because you went one and done in college doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to come to the NBA and have this gruesome injury. Doesn't necessarily mean that. Because we can go in history and look at the one and done players such as Kyrie. He got injured.
Yeah, but
it wasn't, as soon as he got into the league.
But it also took him 2-3 years to develop.
It did, and the same thing with John Wall. Because when John Wall came into the league, I thought he was hard. I said to myself and literally everybody else, he should have stayed in college to develop more. But I just think some players are just natural born ball players where they can just go one and done. They don't have to stay 2-3 years in college just to get the game underneath their belt and the experience.
Yeah, I just want to say one more point. To add to my point, like we see what Dario Saric is doing this season. Like lately, like ever since the Embiid injury, he's been averaging more than 20 points a game, like 5 rebounds and 3 assists a game. And he played overseas. He's been playing professional ball since he's 16. So like he's polished. You can tell he's ready to come into the NBA.
I just think the thing
I see guys like Brandon Ingram. Like I'm just looking, he needs 2-3 years to develop. Simmons, you can tell by his body of work, he's a one and done. But I just see all these young kids come out, and besides Karl Anthony Towns last year and Porzingis, I mean Okafor too, but Okafor's had a down year this year. No one else really stood out. In every NBA draft, you like lately you've seen you get the top 3 prospects that blossom, and then everyone else is in the middle of the pack. 3 players from each draft blossom while everyone else is still developing. And I just think they should change that rule instead of 1 year. Make it 2-3 years.
Right.
These kids need to develop.
I get your
more.
point, but you just brought up Jahlil Okafor having a down year. I don't think he has had a down year this year. I just think because of the way the first half of the season was set up with all the trade talk and all of that stuff that played into it, it limited his opportunities to get onto the court. That's what I think it was. Now, to be honest with you, since we've traded Nerlens Noel, what's the kid's name? Rashad Holmes?
Yes.
Has been an upgrade to me of Nerlens Noel. He's that athletic defender down low that Nerlens Noel was. Difference is, Rashad Holmes can score the ball. Nerlens Noel couldn't. I think he's that upgrade. And to be honest with you guys, I wouldn't be shocked if the Sixers traded Jahlil Okafor around draft time or next season. Just because, just like you were pretty upset that they traded Nerlens Noel.
And Nerlens Noel's doing great in Dallas, too.
He is. Can't knock him.
Dallas about to make the playoffs, which is going to help us.
But think about it, though. Just think about it, though. We pretty much have an upgrade of Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
And Rashad Holmes.
And now, how many years of college did he play?
I think it was 2.
And then he also was in a development league. So he's had years to develop and give time for him to
But
elevate
this is
his game.
his second season in the league. This year, I mean, last year he was in and out. This year, early in the first half of the season, he was in and out too.
Now it comes down to the NBA scouting. The scouts go out, they look at the best 5 in each position. You knowing your team needs a point guard, and you have a very high pick of getting him, they're going to use that pick and getting him instead of him going back to college for another year because you don't know if you're going to get that same type of caliber player next year.
Mm-hmm.
So the one and done is ran off of scouting and basically by position. You need that guy, you're not going to pass up.
Mm-hmm.
Because next year, you never know what's the next player out there to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel as though, just to answer you guys' question, the one and done, I can agree, but sometimes I can't because college teams, to me, hide the injury report. They're not stating all the facts of what's wrong with that player to be. It's not till when it's draft time, and obviously they come to that team's doctors, now we know what's wrong. If you remember a few years back, we weren't supposed to get Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to get Parker out of Duke. But what happened? Embiid's foot supposedly was broke. He had partial tears. So that mixed the whole thing around. Nerlens Noel, another knee situation. Did we find out? No. We waited till when he came to Philly to find out what was wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
I believe, like I said, the NBA scouts have to do a better job in reading the reports of all college basketball players' history injury-wise.
Mm-hmm. I get what you're saying. It's a very valid point. Very valid point.
And I just wanted to bring that question up because like it's a new upcoming topic because they got at first some people were coming out of high school coming straight to the NBA. They got rid of that. Now it's one and done. And now people are starting to raise question marks because Jabari Parker just tore his ACL again. And the man's only like 21 years old. I mean, these young kids are coming to the NBA and it's a grown man's league. And most of the kids are not ready for it.
They're not, but you know
you have like again, I'm sorry, like you have like 3 to 5 players that are ready, but everyone else they're like little kids out there in a grown man's league.
Now, you know the reason why I'm not complaining about one and done players is because it's their decision.
Yeah, it's their decision.
It's their decision what they want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, if you're 18, 19 years old, you're considered a young man. If you commit a crime, you're not going to juvie, you're going to prison and jail. So you're a young man at that age. Yeah. Now you have the optional right to decide whether you want to go to the NBA or stay another year in college and develop and get your game better. That's why I'm not going to, disagree with them because that's your decision. If you feel as though you're ready, be my guest. Go ahead. Go enter the draft. But when you get to the league, and like you said, it's a grown man's league.
Yeah, it's a huge difference from
you've done that to yourself. That's how I see it. So in those 3 or 4 years, if you're not developed to be, that superstar player that you had the potential to be, and everybody like in the media, like you said earlier, is proclaiming you to be, and Lonzo Ball is gonna be the next Russell Westbrook. This, that, and the third. If you haven't reached that level yet, by that time, you did that to yourself, and you're gonna find yourself out the league playing overseas. That's why I'm not gonna complain about it. You've done that to yourself.
A lot of these NBA rookies come in and just want that fast money.
Yeah. That's all it is.
They do not take care of their bodies the way old superstars have.
For instance, LeBron James.
They're not in the weight room. They're not drinking the right stuff, like fruits, vegetables, however they mix that nasty green-looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
NBA players from the past knew how to take care of their bodies. The kids nowadays, they just want a house. They just want a car. They just want that brand new watch.
They just want to live the lavish life.
Yeah. That goes away. Now you get injured. Who's going to help you? You didn't win a ring, so your money's not there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something to think about.
And you know who? And since you brought that up, you know who's the first person that comes to mind? Allen Iverson. Because didn't they make the claims that Allen Iverson went broke?
Allen Iverson,
Taking care of his friends
they
and
try to
everybody else
say
that
he
was
went
around him?
bankruptcy, but his bankruptcy is $2 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's his type of broke. Compared to a $60 million man to a $2 million man, then yes, we can consider that. But Allen Iverson was a man that he didn't forget about nobody. He considered everybody his friend. So for him going to city with 15, 20 people as his entourage, and he took care of every last one of them. And now that he's not capable to do it, and he's standing there alone, should show everybody. When I mean everybody, I mean everybody. Real friends are hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
No more Ben Franklins. No more friends. You got George Washington in your pocket. Nobody around. Allen Iverson, the greatest player to come out of Georgetown. The greatest Sixer to ever go on the court. Now has finally learned his lesson.
And I'm going to add on to that, I believe the greatest combo guard to ever play the game.
I just say pound for pound.
I say the greatest combo guard. But
I made the statement earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Big hearts. That guy's heart was from here to Mount Everest. Day in, day out. 9, 10 injuries. He would go out there. You knew what you were paying for. You knew if Allen Iverson is out there, you're going to win. You always had that feeling. Didn't matter who you were going against. Iverson gave you that hope. Iverson made people proud of playing in those parks. Why? He did something special every night.
Mm-hmm.
If he happened to be in the NBA right now with his talent and he wasn't the best paid athlete, I would say the NBA is rigged.
Now, since you just brought up another thing that we're gonna, jump right into, since you brought it up, if Allen Iverson was in today's league, and he wasn't paid that high caliber money, the NBA will be rigged, right? Now, if you're the front office of the Philadelphia 76ers, do you overpay for a free agent superstar? Are you going to do it just to bring that superstar here to Philly?
With what I have right now, and Embiid and Simmons, position-wise, point guard, yes, I will overpay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would not overpay center because we have Joel Embiid. I would not overpay small forward because we have Ben Simmons. But if we
or
have,
power forward,
let's just say we have Damian Lillard for some odd reason, the Blazers, him and the contract go up, I will overpay him.
I would too. I would overpay him. In a heartbeat.
Now,
like,
I was
Philly, buddy.
I was doing some research, and over who's going to be a free agent over the next couple of years, and after looking at the free agent players, the players that are going to become free agents, I don't see coming here to Philly to play for a playoff contender team. I believe that the teams that they're already playing for are championship ready. Now, maybe, Gordon Hayward would maybe come over, but I don't see him coming over and leaving Utah.
Yeah, I wouldn't leave Utah.
I don't know about you guys, but the way the Sixers position themselves, trying to tank for 3 years straight, have the worst team in the NBA for 3 years straight, put themselves in a position that they're not going to be able to sign a top player free agent, and if they do sign a top player free agent, he's in his early 30s, and giving him that top contract is going to come with years to come. Now, a top contract in the NBA, let's say, is what, $200 million for 6 years. Would you give that to a 31-year-old Paul Pierce? I'm not. Would you?
No.
Would you give LeBron a 6-year, $200 million contract when he's about to be 32, 33 years old? Now, I see you're smiling, but I can't see LeBron keeping that level of
LeBron.
that level of play till he's 39, 40 years old. I don't see it happening.
LeBron can go to the worst team in the NBA, turn it around. 2 years later, he's in the NBA Finals.
I understand
He's a
that.
coach. He's an executive. He's a player. He's 1 through 5 on any given team.
I understand that.
LeBron is a special.
But
breed.
considering his age, would you do it? That's the point
Me?
I'm trying to do it. If he's
Just
33 years
giving
old,
you all my answers, yes.
If he's 33, yeah. But if he's like 35, 36, I wouldn't give him a max. He's not going to be worth a max deal if he's 36.
I would. I don't think I would do it. I mean,
'Cause you
maybe
saw
I'm
what
it's
gonna
a
bring this
2-year
topic
deal.
up for you guys. Al Horford, do you agree he's an excellent superstar?
I do not think he's an all-star player.
Not a superstar, but he's
Think
an
he's all-star caliber.
all-star caliber player.
He just got signed this past year to Boston.
Mhm.
Why? Isaiah
Because
Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas needed somebody that was big.
Isaiah Thomas. Before Al Horford got there, Isaiah Thomas was playing great basketball.
Still is.
Yeah, he still is. He's balling. He's 29 points a game.
Okay. Al Horford got attracted to Isaiah Thomas.
Mhm.
Isaiah Thomas is
Now,
a special breed.
when we have Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid on the court, and people see how special those two are,
Mhm.
we will get that big name.
Yeah, that's what I
I'm
was.
just
that's what I was
hoping,
gonna say.
player-wise, it's a point guard. I don't want it to be a small forward where we will have controversy. I don't want it to be a center where we're going to have bigger controversy. Let it be that position that we need.
Mhm.
Point guard
Sky's
or
the
shooting
limit.
guard.
Guard in general, honestly.
Shooting guard, with the way we have, well, with the way that I can see Ben Simmons attacking the basket, I don't see it as the shooting guard being the necessary position we have,
Yeah.
that we need. I believe a point guard is what's mandatory. Ben Simmons going to the rack, Joel Embiid down there, Dario Saric.
He's a good.
If he can develop to a
Yeah.
good 3-point shooter, he can. As long as we get that true point guard and we have our two big names out there. We have our two big names out there. I believe that power forward stretch position can be filled by him. But I still say that overpaying point guard, I would do it if I was Brian, Jerry Colangelo. Let's do this. Even if we have to trade, I would trade right now. Our 3 first-round picks, send them to the Blazers. Bring on oh, man, Damian. If he comes here, I swear. we're gonna
Yeah,
have
I
to
don't
do
think he's
something
worth
to
all of
buy.
that now. I don't think he's worth our 3 first-round picks.
Why not?
Hmm?
Why not? He's still young.
He is.
1 year he got injured. It's not bad.
Reason why I won't
20
do
and
it.
10 every night.
and you know what? You can make him protected too. Like
See.
you can make like one of those picks protected for us.
Reason why I won't do it personally is because with one of those draft picks, you might just get lucky and find somebody to pair him with in the backcourt. I mean, you found C.J. McCollum. Why can't the Sixers go out and find another C.J. McCollum in the first round?
Yeah, but see, this goes back
That-
to you. This goes back to your own argument that you said in the previous. Damian Lillard is already established.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys aren't established yet, and pretty much what I see, how I treat every NBA draft like this. You only have 3 to 5 if you're
NBA
lucky,
ready players.
NBA ready players.
Uh-huh.
Everyone else is either like we said earlier, just getting that check for personal needs, and or they're not ready for the NBA. They don't realize that it's a grown man's league.
Mm-hmm. Now, we're going to move on to our next topic. We're going to stick with basketball. But this has been a lot of controversial arguments going on with this topic, the MVP race between James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Do you want me to start off with my opinion, or do you two want to go first?
Hey, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I got second.
Damn, I'm always
Russell
last.
Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
I remember telling my brother, Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, nah, he's not good. He's overrated.
No, it's not that at all. It's just what hurts him is his team's success, and
Hold on, Josh. Before
Josh.
you go second,
All right,
he's
my
still
fault.
trying to go
Yeah, I
first.
got you. I'm ready to go.
Russ has been a player that I liked coming into the NBA. I always seen the potential in him when people didn't. He's elevated to something right now where he's one of the top 5 NBA players right now.
Of course.
Yeah.
Not only is he doing it single-handedly, he's having his best career, making a statement to KD. Not only has he done that, every time he goes on the court, he's like your AI. You have that feeling they're going to win. The most explosive basketball player on the court right now, to me, is Russ. Yeah, people might not like his attitude, but with his attitude comes game. You always need that, I'm going to call you out so I can make you better. I got to say something negative so you could bring out the positive in you. I love it. I like him. Russell Westbrook has my vote for MVP.
And I agree with you in all those reasons. I think Russell Westbrook's a special talent. He's one of my favorite players in the league too. Just by the way how he attacks the basket. He drives he can drive on all 5 people at once. But what hurts him is, and here's a stat too, the same thing what hurt Oscar Robinson. When he averaged a triple-double, he didn't win MVP either because his team's success was not good. Like this NBA is a lot different from baseball. Baseball, like we saw Miguel Cabrera, I'm going to continue to say, I said this in a couple of podcasts ago. Miguel Cabrera had the Triple Crown. He won the Triple Crown. But Mike Trout had clearly, everyone knew Mike Trout deserved to win MVP, and his team made the playoffs too. But what hurt Mike Trout was the Detroit Tigers were just a step better, and Miguel Cabrera had that Triple Crown. Miguel Cabrera had that Triple Crown, which hurt Mike Trout. In the NBA, he's gonna do something only Oscar Robinson has done and average a triple-double. But what hurts him is the NBA values team success a lot more. And James Harden is right behind Russ in points and leading the league in assists. And his team is the 3rd seed in the East when no one was expecting Houston to be a top 3 seed in the West. And another person that's creeping up there that deserves to be in that list, LeBron James. What LeBron has done this year has been nothing but spectacular. And his team's the number 1 in the Eastern Conference. And again, another newcomer is Kawhi Leonard. Those are my 4 players right now, my top 4. But as of right now, I'm going to go James Harden only because leading the league in assists, he's like a Steve Nash times 10. And the Rockets are the 3 seed in the East. I mean, right now, OKC's the 6 seed, so they can continue to creep up. But just as of today, right now, if Oklahoma City does not creep up to like the 5 or 4 seed, I don't think Russell Westbrook's going to get it. I think James Harden's going to get it.
I can agree with that. But I want you to answer yourself one question. You take Russell Westbrook off of OKC. OKC will be on the outside looking in. True or false?
Yeah, that's true. There'll be a lot. In my opinion, I think there'll be top 5 pick in the draft.
Yeah. You
So
take
will the
James
Rockets.
Harden.
Yeah, so will the Rockets too.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe with Mike D'Antoni, with the way he has that offense playing right now, that run and gun basketball, James Harden does score a lot. He does get a lot of attractive. He does shoot the ball very well. But I think Patrick Beverley will be able to fill that point guard position and help out everybody around him.
I don't know if it'll be as.
I can't agree with that.
you on that one. I'm sorry.
I can't agree with that. Because there's just so many. When James Harden has the ball, there's so much attention to one player. Yes, Patrick Beverley's a good point guard. Everybody in the league should want to have a Patrick Beverley on their team. He's a feisty player. He's a winning player.
Great role player.
But the thing is that what I think separates Patrick Beverley from taking an extra step, he's not that
good
good
shooter.
offensively as James Harden. Okay? Now I'm going to go and make my case. You like Russell Westbrook. Josh likes.
I'm going Harden right
You're
now.
going Harden. Okay, I do remember early in the year when we first started doing our podcast, I said Russell Westbrook has my vote.
Yes.
Okay?
I said that too.
Now, the reason why I'm switching my pick is because we all have to look at one thing. The success of the team. Okay? You pinpointed and said that Russell Westbrook is making is trying to prove everything to Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant right now isn't even playing and can still look back and say, haha, I'm still going to the finals. You can have all the stats you want, all the points you want, all the assists you want, all the rebounds you want. But hey, look, there's a chance I'm going to get a ring and you're not. So at the end of the day, yes, we all check the stats. Yes, we all check to see, oh my gosh, let's check Russell Westbrook's stats tonight, or let's check LeBron James stats tonight, or let's check James Harden's stats tonight. But hey, at the end of the day, what are we going to say? Oh yeah, well the Rockets beat the Cavs. Oh yeah, with the Thunder loss. It all comes down to the team's success. Now the reason why I think, James Harden has my vote, because I think he solidified this award with the win against the Cavs a week or two ago. Okay? We have to think about the success of these players and the MVP as they get their MVP as they're in the MVP talk.
Yeah.
And as we've seen previously, when KD was with OKC and he was injured,
Westbrook did the same thing.
OKC couldn't go nowhere. OKC came in 9th place. So that proves to me and shows me Russell can't do it by himself. He needs another superstar there with him. And you brought Allen Iverson into this conversation, bro. The thing that sets those two apart is that Allen Iverson went to the NBA Finals with no other superstar with him. Yes, he did have Aaron McKee, Eric Snow, Dikembe Mutombo. It's fine. Were they considered superstars when they went? No. That's the thing that sets them apart. Allen Iverson took them there by himself with no other superstar. Russell, to me, needs another superstar there with them, because all of that success that they had was when both superstars were paired together.
Just to get to the finals.
They made it to the finals when they had James Harden on that team. So you have 3 superstars on one team. You went to the finals. You have 2. Cool. You blew a 3-1 lead. That blame literally has to go on you and your other superstar and Kevin Durant. Okay? This year, after Kevin Durant left, where you at in the 6th seed, struggling for wins. Yes, you're a playoff. Yes, you're in the playoff. Yes, if the season ends today, you're in the playoffs. Cool, fine. But what are you? Honestly, you might get a first round exit to the Clippers. I mean, to the Rockets. Pardon me.
Not to the Clippers.
To the Rockets, because if the season ends today, it'll be the Rockets and the Thunder playing in the first round. Now, James Harden, his game, he makes it look so easy. He can get to the basket whenever he wants. He literally gets fouled almost every time getting to the basket. The ball's in his hands, what makes it so much scarier. And what's his signature? What's his signature? Mixing the pot after he hits that step back 3. That step back 3. How many players do we know have that in their game? I'm not done yet, though. Okay? There's only 2 teams in the NBA on the Western Conference that are ahead of James Harden. That's 1, the Golden State Warriors. 2, the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs having 20 straight consecutive winning seasons and going to the playoffs. Golden State,
that system,
arguably one of the best put together teams to ever come out the NBA in NBA history, arguably. I just can't see Russell taking this above James Harden. And even in James Harden's case, he's the only superstar on that team. You think Lou Williams is a superstar? You think
the Rockets have way better role players.
They do.
Than they do in OKC.
They do. I can't agree with you. And I'm glad you
Russ
said that.
Plays offense, plays defense, has the heart, gets his team fired up.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden, great offensive player, the worst defensive player.
Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, what do you need to do to win the game?
James Harden can go to the bench, and they'll still have scorers on the court.
Mm-hmm.
You take Russ, on the bench, there's a drought.
Mm-hmm.
Which is true. But I want to get on to this last topic about basketball.
I don't mean to cut you off.
My fault.
Russ in OKC was not predicted to be in the 6th seed.
Mm-hmm. Where was he predicted?
To be on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
James Harden and the Rockets were a 6th seed team coming in. Now that he's having a great year, they have Nene over there playing good. Eric Gordon playing good. They just traded for Lou Will. I like him a whole hell of a lot.
Ryan Anderson.
Ryan Anderson getting that contract,
Eric
getting
Gordon.
that 3 from the
Yeah,
outside.
he said that.
Oh, he said Eric Gordon already? I
Patrick
apologize.
Beverly actually staying on the court and not getting technicals where he's hurting his team.
Mm-hmm.
Point is, OKC was supposed to be on the outside looking in. You take Russ away, OKC's not even thought of. You take Harding away, Houston is at best 6th seed.
Mm-hmm. I can't agree with that. I can't agree if... Bro, you take Harden away from the Rockets, that's a lottery team. They're a lottery team. They're a lottery... If you think about it like this. You take Harden away, right? Then you take away all the acquisitions that they made and all the players that they traded for, signed, and etc.
Of course, if you take away, they're going to be on the outside looking in. We're just taking the 2 main superstars of each team.
Now, so let's say if you take away James Harden, how many points does he account for?
He almost averages
29.
Yeah,
29.
It's almost 30 though.
Assists account to you too.
Assists,
So let's
he's
say
at 11 and a half.
11 and a half. You average 29 points and 11 assists, right?
And 8 rebounds.
No, we're not going to consider the rebounds in this at all. Because the main object of the game is to outscore your opponent. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say 11 assists. Let's say 4 of them came off of threes. So there, you're accounted for 12 more points. The other 7 is 2s, 14 more points. So 3 times 4 is 12. 7 times 2 is 14. You add that as 26 points. Add those 26 points onto your 29 points. All of that right there will probably get divided amongst 5 players if you take him away from that team.
Yeah.
So, my opinion, and I believe this is a strong point, without James Harden, they're a lottery team. There's no, they're at least a 6th seed team. None of that.
No.
Okay? And to go back to you, the Thunder are literally 1 game away from losing the 6th seed to the Grizzlies. Okay? And let's just say if the Nuggets, the Mavs, or the Trailblazers just decide to go on a hot streak, they're going to be on the outside looking in. And
that's where everybody expected
I know.
OKC to be.
I understand where you're getting at. I understand.
Come on.
But if you think about it, though, you can't blame Russell Westbrook for not having as good role players as James Harden does. You can't blame him from that because that goes back to your management. And maybe the management's a little bit screwed up. So that's something you need to fix amongst the organization.
And the Thunder, they did just make 2 new acquisitions too. They did get Taj Gibson and they did get Doug McDermott. So they're starting to get more pieces. I think I think right now OKC has too much of a lead. Like if you look at the standings, the difference between them and the Grizzlies and the 8th seed is like 5 games. 5-6 games. So OKC will make the playoffs. It just depends on what seed they're going to get. Because right now, I believe the Nuggets are like, what, 5 games below 500?
The Nuggets are 3 games below 500.
3 games, yeah.
3
And
games
OKC's
below 500.
9 games above 500, I believe.
10.
10, yeah, because they just won the other night. They beat Brooklyn. So they're 10 games over 500. Right now, they have enough cushion that I believe they'll make the playoffs. It just depends on what seeding they're going to get.
I think that Thunder are going to fall down to the 7th seed and have to play the Spurs in the first round.
I mean, my MVP vote is Harden, and that's only because of team success. But I want to get on to a different topic. Before coming into our podcast, me and your brother talked about top 5 in his generation and top 5 in our generation. What do you consider our generation like? 2010 to present.
2000 to present.
2000, because the only thing is he loves AI and like, because I consider Kobe in the 2000s as well.
No,
Because Kobe was drafted
I know, but
I'm
not gonna.
in the 90s.
Honestly, I'm gonna give him Kobe and Allen Iverson. Keep them. I believe with the 5 that I'll still choose, that are in me and Josh's generation, can possibly still be your 5.
I want to hear your 5 first.
Go ahead.
You want us to go first?
The rookies have it first.
The rookies.
Rookies have it first. Okay, well, Josh, I mean, this is probably something we have to team up on.
Yeah, we'll team up on.
But I'm just gonna say my top 5 real quick first.
Yeah.
My top 5. I'm gonna start off with
Point guard.
point guard, Russell Westbrook. No. Matter of fact, yeah, Russell Westbrook. Give me Russell. My shooting guard. He's not a shooting guard, but since it's my top 5, okay, I'm gonna go Kawhi Leonard in my shooting guard. LeBron as my small forward. Is Tim Duncan he's in your era, right?
Yeah.
So I can't go Tim Duncan. What about Dirk? Dirk is your era.
Dirk, Kevin Durant. I mean, not Kevin Durant.
We got
Kevin
KD.
Garnett.
Kevin Garnett.
I would say KD. If KD does not get injured, I'm gonna say this
so
now.
you know what?
KD
No.
will be
So you know
the
what?
best
I'm gonna give it a
scorer
little
to ever play
shake
the
up.
game
Little
if
shake
he
up.
does not get injured.
I'm gonna give it a little shake up. My point guard is Russell. My shooting guard is Kawhi. My small forward is KD. My 4 is LeBron. My 5. All right, now answer this question again. Is Shaq in your generation too?
Shaq's in his generation.
God damn, I just can't win. So my 5, I'm gonna go with. Hold on, give me a second.
You got to think about your center, huh?
Give me a second, because between his generation and our generation, the game has changed a lot.
Yeah, the game has changed a lot.
The game went from big man to dominating the
why
league
don't
to
you
guards
add-
dominating.
why-
the league.
you have
why
Boogie
don't you?
out there,
Why
you
why
know
don't
that,
you?
right?
Who?
Yeah, we
You
have.
Boogie out there.
Yeah, you have Boogie, but why don't you
You
add
have
Curry?
Anthony Davis out
Give
there.
me Anthony Davis as my 5.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
For me, point guard, I got to go Russ, only because what he's doing is generation. LeBron's obviously in there. But, I mean, I got to have Stephen Curry in there, too, because the way how he's shooting right now, going to be the greatest shooter of all time, by far.
Mm-hmm.
So I have Russell Westbrook at point guard, Curry. Those two can switch up. LeBron at my 3. Then I'm going to have... I got to think. Because I really like Kawhi Leonard, too. Because Kawhi Leonard is an all-around. He's probably right up there with LeBron, best all-around player, defense and offense. So I'd put Kawhi in there, too. LeBron at 4, Kawhi at 3. And I'm going to go with Boogie Cousins at 5, only because the way how he can stretch the floor, hit threes. It's going to take him a year to get used to playing with Anthony Davis. But with the Kings averaging 28 points, I'll deal with his attitude. LeBron can calm him down. LeBron can tame his attitude. And it would be scary to see LeBron and Boogie play together. So that's my 5.
Good.
Michael Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
6-time champ.
Mm-hmm.
6-time finals.
Mm-hmm.
So you got
MVP.
90s and early 2000s. Oh, man.
Jordan made sure the Bulls never went to a 7th game.
I'm not trying to cut you short, bro, but we're already in the show, so we're going to have to speed it up a little bit because we still have other topics to talk about.
Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm. I will put Kawhi on him all day.
5-time champ.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi Leonard on Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta laugh at that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. As a matter of fact, we can get a game of 2K going.
This is gonna surprise you guys. Tracy McGrady.
As your point guard or shooting
No.
guard?
Small forward.
Oh, okay.
T-Mac. Power forward. Charles Barkley.
And 5 is Tim Duncan.
The greatest man that played in number 21.
Mm-hmm. I should have known.
Greatest
Antonio.
power
I knew.
forward of
I
all
knew.
time.
I knew Tim
TD,
Duncan.
baby.
I knew Tim Duncan was going to be in that top 5.
TD.
All right.
5-time champion.
Now, is that it? We can move on to our next topic.
Yeah,
All right. So our next topic, we're gonna switch it up a little bit. We're gonna move on to football. Today, a headline went out saying, should the Eagles trade their number 1 pick for Dovante Freeman? I personally say no.
No.
I want to get your guys' opinion on it.
With our needs right now being cornerback, and right now, you look at our roster and you just laugh like, where's the cornerback at? No, I would not do it. But if you can trade a future first round pick, meaning next season, then yes, I will do it. But as 2017 first round draft pick, no.
Yeah.
Now, I got to be honest with you guys. I went and did some homework of my own. Took the time out the day. I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to do it. Dovante Freeman averages 15 carries a game.
He's a beast.
The last 2 years.
He's a beast.
I'm not going to include his rookie year because we all know he was just buried in the bench.
Yeah, it's rookie year.
Okay, so the last 2 years, he's averaged 15 carries a game with about 3 to 4 catches coming out the backfield. The last 2 seasons. So he doesn't carry the same workload as an elite running back, per se, Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell, Ezekiel Elliott, David Johnson, DeMarco Murray, and etc. So right now, he's not worth a number 1 pick, especially the Eagles' number 1 pick, have it being a mid-round first-round pick at 14. I would probably do Michael Kendricks with a 3rd-round pick for Freeman. Okay? Now follow me here. No, let me move down a little bit. Hold on. Now, let's not get it wrong. He's had 2 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Let's not get it wrong. With averaging 10 touchdowns a year, because his second year he had 12. Last year he had, something like that. I'm not going to get into the touchdowns. It's just touchdowns.
The man's a beast.
He is. Now, he's averaging 1 carry. He's averaging 4.3 yards a game. I went and took Adrian Peterson's career stats. He averages 20 carries, 4.9 yards per carry. Cool. Okay. I went and I just said Dovante Freeman averages 15. If you give him those 5 carries more, and he's averaging 4 yards a carry, okay, that's 5 more carries for 20 more yards. Now, after adding everything up and doing the homework, he can have 307 carries for 1,399 yards. Okay, and if you add that, if you want to tip it over to the next one, to the next point, the next yard number, it'll be 1,400 yards, which an elite running back has between 1,100 to 1,400 yards. An elite running back consistently. You guys following me here, yeah?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah.
Now, we all know Dovante Freeman can break it. Can break, a nice, good yardage play here and there.
Yeah, we saw it in the playoffs this year.
We saw it all year with the Falcons. So, if he's going to have 20 carries for 88 yards a game, not including that breakout play, then yes, I would trade the first-round pick for him. Because we're getting an elite running back in return. And 2, the cornerback depth is so heavy in this draft, you can go and find a gem in the 2nd to 7th round in the cornerback depth and still be fine. Now you have an upgrade at running back who's still young. He's still 25 years old. And now you can go and find a gem at cornerback between rounds 2 to 7. And bam, you got your team. You got your offense set for the next 6-7 years. And you found a defensive starter. And now I'm not going to say an elite corner, but a good corner. Because I believe the Eagles don't need an elite cornerback with the safety top that we provide. With our safeties that we provide to help cover over the top. That's just my thoughts and my analysis of everything.
I don't mean to cut you off here, Josh. Dovante Freeman, yes, is an explosive back. Is he an every down back? I don't believe so. Is he in between a tackle back, meaning north-south type back? I don't believe he is. East-west, coming out of the backfield, flat, yes. Now, would I love to see him on the Eagles? Of course. It'll make it more explosive. But to have an elite running back, hopefully true to be an elite quarterback, and a wide receiver that all still need to get paid, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Meaning, as well, we also need corners. There's going to be a defensive player just like Cox that's going to need a big-time contract. Would I be more satisfied if we go corner route first? Yes. I would rather go elite corner, at least one elite corner, because our safeties are getting up there in age. Let's not put
As
the
in who?
stress level.
Because McLeod's still 24, 25
Let's
years
not
old.
put the stress level on our safeties if our corners get burnt day in and day out. Let's get at least one elite corner. I can deal with a subside second. I can. But an elite corner is something that I would go first as an Eagles GM.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, if we can some way, somehow get an elite corner using our second, like right now, me personally, our second round pick, I would send to the Patriots to get Malcolm Butler. Patriots are my other favorite team. I'm a Brady fan regardless. Would I send that second round pick? Yes, I would. If some way, somehow, that first round, I can get Sidney to come over, even though we all know he's hurt. But I can live with him being hurt for a year and a shutdown corner. We'll have Malcolm Butler as the shutdown corner and Malcolm Jenkins over the top for help. I would deal with one more year of pain for that.
And my opinion about Dovante Freeman, I think he is a very explosive back, and I think he is a very good back. But I just think that the Atlanta system, Kyle Shanahan's system, was the best system for him. I think, like Philadelphia, we need more of like a power running back, what I see. And he is a good talent, but...
I don't mean to cut you off. Meaning power, you mean north-south.
Yes,
Okay.
north-south,
Okay.
not east-west. Because, I mean, Sproles is a good running back. But we seen times this year when we struggled to run the ball, when he was our primary back, he couldn't get north to south. Like, we needed one more yard. We couldn't get that 1 yard.
Now,
we need that back that is physical, that runs north-south. Because, like, it's like maybe with Chip Kelly, maybe. But now under Doug Peterson, we're going back to that West Coast offense.
So can I ask you both a question? What is LaShawn McCoy?
He's special.
He's an East-West running back, right?
He is special.
And what did he
because-
do when we were? I'm not trying to cut you off. I'm just trying to make my point. When we had LaShawn McCoy, he's an East-West running back, right or wrong. He's a cut dime. He wants to run sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
It was hardly ever we seen LaShawn McCoy run through the tackles and get that big yardage gain.
LaShawn ran through and made a cut.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he doesn't hit the hole hard, face down, ball tight, going northbound. He'll go north. If he sees something going east, guess what? You lost him. Something going west, that's where he was going. But LaShawn will run through the tackle. He would.
Mm-hmm.
But being that dominant north-south, no. But LaShawn is an all-purpose running back. He could come out in the flat.
You don't think Dovante Freeman isn't?
I don't like
Because
Dovante Freeman.
I can pull up the stats really
I don't
quick.
like Dovante Freeman going through the hole because he's not your every down back. And he can't take a hit. If he takes a hit, I'm scared he loses the ball. Football, that's the most important thing. Hold on to the ball.
Now I have a lot of respect for Freeman because I mean I wouldn't go that far to say he can't take a hit. He for his size, he's only 5'8", I believe. For his size, he runs hard. He does run the ball hard, but he also had another strong running back in his backup in Coleman. Coleman was just as good. I believe him, Freeman, and Coleman had the same amount of touchdowns last year. So there was less pressure on Freeman. I wouldn't give up my first round pick in this year's draft for him, only because we need to address the corner position. And as an Eagles fan, I want us to have an elite corner. I mean, we do have two good safeties, but man, I love seeing good physical defense, and I love talking smack to people, especially about the Eagles. And if we have, and one thing I'm tired of hearing is, man, our corner who just got burnt again. Is that Nolan Carroll getting burnt? Byron Maxwell gave him big money. He's getting burnt.
Yep.
I want to see how our defense plays with a shutdown corner, because I mean our defense showed flashes of excellence especially at home. Like when we get that pass rush going and we get an elite corner, I want offenses to come into Philly and get less than 200 yards of offense. That's what I want to see. I want to see some physicality on our defense, and our line is almost there, I believe. If our defense over there, my fault, not our line. And if we get a cornerback, I will take that next step. I love seeing elite defenses do their work. And now that we got Jeffrey and Torrey Smith, I'll be fine. I'm fine.
2 players that comes to mind, okay?
We already got a lot.
Honestly, if Dovante Freeman was to put up these type of numbers and be considered, the numbers the projection numbers that I just did, I would make the trade, okay? Because there's a history of players in the NFL that have been that are elite corners that were not drafted in the first round. Matter of fact, the two that come to mind is the person you want to trade for, Malcolm Butler. Malcolm Butler went undrafted, and Richard Sherman, he was drafted in the 5th round. And what is he now? An elite corner. So you necessarily aren't promised. Butler? No.
But look.
Malcolm Butler leads list of undrafted Super Bowl
That
standouts.
same argument you have about the corners can be same about any other position in the NFL. Tom Brady was a 6th round pick.
It is. No, I agree with you 100%. But I will make the trade because let's say if I'm just going off the numbers that I projected here, if he were to put up these type of numbers, handling the workload, then yes, I will make the trade. But one thing that's going to scare me though is he doesn't have this workload. So we don't know how he's going to react if he was to have this workload and what type of toll it would take on his body if he was given the workload.
And another thing,
that's the thing that scares me as I just analyzed all of this stuff.
And another thing that you didn't bring up about stats, he's not really a good pass blocker. We saw in the Super Bowl what happened with Hightower.
But I believe
he's a decent pass blocker, but he's not like for a running back. He's not a good pass blocker.
That's absolutely fine. See, now one thing though, I wasn't trying to cut you off. I wasn't trying to cut you off there, but our line is stable enough and has enough depth to it to hold pass rushers.
I agree. I'm just saying for our 1st round pick, I wouldn't take the chance. If we can get him for we give up a 3rd round pick or we give up a future 1st round pick next year, I'll be fine with that. Because he is a good talent and he would be scary in our backfield. He would. But he's not that strong of a pass blocker because for me, if I'm giving up my 1st round pick, he needs to do everything in my eyes. Because if you think about it, go back in the past.
Pass blocking is something you can work on.
Jimmy Graham was worth a 2nd round pick to the Seahawks. The Seahawks got him for a 2nd round pick.
And one of the best centers, arguably in the league.
New Orleans got him.
And one of the best centers, arguably in the league, in Max Unger. Max Unger is arguably one of the best centers in the league. So you've really gotten, that's really a steal that the Saints got.
Yeah,
you get a 2nd round pick.
I'm just saying.
And a center.
I'm just saying if Jimmy Graham isn't worth a 1st round pick at that time, because Jimmy Graham was right there with Rob Gronkowski. They were having Jimmy Graham line up in the slot.
But wasn't he coming off an injury, though?
No.
He was having a good season.
What season was it that he had the injury? Was it the previous season?
He had 2 good seasons back-to-back.
Yeah, back-to-back. Like Rob Gronkowski numbers. You can pull up the stats. He was only worth a 2nd round pick. I'm not giving up my 1st round pick for Dovante Freeman. If I'm giving up my 1st round pick, it's going to be like Adrian Peterson, 26 years old. Like that. Beast mode. Beast mode. 24 years old. Like he's young and does everything.
No, stats are the year before he got traded to Seattle, he didn't get injured, but he had 85 receptions for 889 yards and 10 touchdowns. That's not Rob Gronkowski numbers. Rob Gronkowski numbers are when he's healthy is 1,100 yards with 1,300 with 13 touchdowns. The season before that he did have the 1,200 yards.
Defend Jimmy. Drew Brees, that was not his main target at that point in time.
Who was?
Marcus Colston.
Marcus Colston was
Yeah.
heading downhill.
No, but
Mark
that time.
Colston
he's the franchise receiver.
was the player that it was Drew Brees' favorite target. It's not like my man Tom Brady and my man Rob Gronkowski. TB favorite player is Gronk. Any given Sunday, it'll be Gronk. If Gronk's on the field, that's who he'd rather give the ball to.
And Drew Brees.
So,
my
I'm
fault.
just trying to chime in real quick. I don't mean to cut you off or anything
you're
like
good.
that. He got traded in the year 2014. The same season. They played together that final season in 2014. Colston had 59 receptions for 900 yards. It's just literally 902 yards. So that's 13 yards more. That I don't consider that
But
to be
that's
his top
sharing
receiver.
the ball.
Yeah, and also the Saints
Yeah.
did not make the playoffs that year. I'm talking about the year before when he was an elite receiver. The Saints were in the playoffs.
In 2013, Marcus Colston had 943 yards while Jimmy Graham had 1,200 yards.
Yeah, because Jimmy Graham emerged as the number one.
So I don't think Marcus Colston was still the number one receiver at that point in time. I think the last time he was the number one receiver was in 2012. And leading up to that,
For Drew Brees to share the ball with three different players that
who was the third player? Wasn't it just Marcus Colston and Jimmy Graham?
Nah, there was others. There was
There-
others.
there was-
I just don't know off the top
Kenny
of my
Stills? What is Kenny Stills?
head. The vertical threat. I mean, what was Brandon?
Saints,
What was Brandon Cooks'
what
rookie
Drew
year?
Brees really makes a wide receiver good because he'll throw it. He won't regret twice and throwing the ball to them. Now, I would love to have two wide receivers and a tight end to average 900 yards.
Mhm.
They can all have 8 touchdowns, for all I care right
8
about now.
touchdowns is still
That's
an
still
awesome
good.
year.
That's average.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Brees has thrown over 4,000 yards for how many seasons now?
Mm-hmm.
Sharing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
That's without an elite running back over there. Mark Ingram played good, 2 seasons?
If that.
Before him, it was Deuce McAllister.
McAllister.
If
Like-
that.
And he was hard hitting to run through the tackle. Drew Brees shares the ball. So if you have 3 players that are averaging 900 yards and 8 touchdowns, I'll take it.
Yeah, and then also what you say like the year before that, because like you can say he had less than 1,000 yards that year, but the 2 seasons before that, well, I think it was like 1,500, 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. One of the best tight ends in the game. Like during that time period, you can't even lie. Like when the Seattle Seahawks got Graham, people were like, "Oh snap!" Like when it first happened, people were like, "Man, the Seahawks are Wilson now. They're gonna have something special." And they only got a 2nd-round pick for him. They only had to give away a 2nd-round pick and a lineman. At the time, they didn't think the lineman was that good.
I really think if Jimmy Graham didn't get hurt, the Seahawks could have potentially had a way better outcome his first
Yeah.
year there.
Mm-hmm.
And also the line's bad too, and he has to chip. I mean, we talked about this last podcast.
We definitely did.
How like his production's gone down because he's stuck chipping the ends now because his tackles can't block anyone. Like,
Now.
my fault. Just,
no, there you go.
last thing I want to say, you can pull up the tape in the Tampa Bay game. Give up 7 sacks in the first half. Only score, I believe, 6 points the whole game against Tampa Bay.
Now, since we are talking about Seattle,
Yeah.
the next topic was on Seattle.
Yeah.
Do you guys still think there's a Legion of Boom in Seattle?
I'll start off on this one. I think there's, when they're all healthy, there's definitely a Legion of Boom. But right now, I don't really see there's a Legion of Boom. Like I saw the Atlanta game, and I saw how their secondary. You can tell they miss Earl Thomas really bad. Earl Thomas is their emotional leader too, and without him on the field, there's no Legion of Boom without Earl Thomas on the field. And Atlanta was the perfect game film to watch that. Everyone was getting burnt. Sherman was getting burnt. Chancellor was getting burnt. Freeman broke one for like 80 yards, got tackled at like the 20-yard line. Like, they're good enough. Their defense is good enough to beat the bad teams, But when you play against elite quarterbacks, without your best secondary guy not being there, you're not the Legion of Boom. You're not the defense that you are. But when Earl Thomas is on the field, yeah, there's a Legion of Boom. Their defense is amazing when he's on the field. You saw with the Patriots game. They go into New England. They fly over 1,000 miles across country, play at a nighttime game, had to get used to everything. Short flight. And the week before was Thursday Night Football game. They come in New England and win. Earl Thomas was the reason why they won. He was their emotional leader. I believe he picked off Brady too. If it wasn't him, it was someone in the secondary. That was Brady's first pick of the season. They were elite when he was on there, but when he's not on there, there's no Legion of Boom.
No,
I can agree with that to some part. There was a couple key players that ended up leaving Seattle. For instance, Bruce Irving.
Yeah.
Him on the line, on that defensive line, was scary. Have they lost a step? Yes. But if they get back to the smash hitting defense that they can be, then yeah. That name will carry there because Earl Thomas is still there. Sherman. He's probably one of the top 5 best corners to play the game. Wagner. Like, I believe they get back to being full strength, healthy. They can possibly become that strong defense that they were before. They did lose a couple key players, so I believe by you losing a couple key players, you can't keep the same name. But yes, they can be that elite defense that we've seen in the past.
Now, quick question. My fault. Do you think Earl Thomas will be the same old Earl Thomas coming out of this injury?
Yes. Man plays fearlessly. Heart of a lion. And then it's that cold weather out there in Seattle that helps them too. It's brisk out there.
Now, I personally think the Legion of Boom is a systematic thing, not a player thing. Let me tell you why. Yes, Seattle is known. You know, when we think of Seattle, we think of players that were drafted late in the round or undrafted to become these top-notch players. Okay? For instance, a person that was drafted very late in the draft, Richard Sherman. He was drafted in the 5th round of the 2011 draft. What is he now? Considered an elite cornerback. Like you said, every single season, there's somebody from that Legion of Boom that leaves. Okay? And what they're not really doing is finding a replacement for that person. See, now, you're probably questioning, well, what does the system have to do with this? I think the system of getting these players that are undrafted or gone very late in the draft to help them and build them and coach them up to be these top players is from the coaches. Okay? The Legion of Boom, to me, goes to the coaches, not the players. Yes, the players are on the field and doing their thing, but they've yet to find a replacement for Byron Maxwell. They've yet to find a replacement for Malcolm Smith and Bruce Irving. They've yet to find a replacement for Tony McDaniel. The corner that had the lineup opposite of Richard Sherman was Deshaun Shedd. Prior to this year, have you heard of him? Have you heard of him?
No.
I never heard of him.
No.
So to me, the Legion of Boom is not the players, it's the coaches.
And to add to your point, Dan Quinn left. Dan Quinn was the defensive coordinator when they went to back-to-back Super Bowls. He went to Atlanta, and now Atlanta has something special. Their defense is growing into an elite defense. And I may sound crazy now, but that Super Bowl, that first half, and Tom Brady
had Tom Brady on lock.
they had him
Tom
all
Brady
locked.
couldn't do
Everybody.
much.
I mean,
But then again,
yes.
remember though, not too many teams are gonna blow 25-point leads.
Yes, and
Not
that's
too many teams are not
and
gonna
that's
do
something
that.
we'll talk about another day because we've been here for a while now. Talking.
Yeah, we're on an hour and 25 minutes.
Yeah, we're hour 25.
I mean, I'm absolutely
which
fine
is
with
fine
that.
with it's a podcast.
Because I'm here.
It's we got 3
This is
people
going to be
instead
the
of 2.
number one podcast that they've had.
Prod
Cast Pod.
podcast. I'm
Podcast.
sorry, just a joke with you and make fun of you. I had to do
Okay.
that.
But yeah,
Number one, I want all you guys to go out there, hit the like button.
And yeah, that's just to add to your point. Dan Quinn left too, so new defensive coordinator.
Now, I was doing, research of the stats and whatnot. When did we hear of this Legion of Boom thing? 2013? 2014? Around that time. 2013, lined up opposite of Richard Sherman was Brandon Browner. Cool. He left.
He was a perfect compliment.
They
from Sherman.
replaced him with Byron Maxwell, who physicality-wise is the same as Brandon Browner. They're both big and strong. Maybe I don't think Byron Maxwell has the same amount of talent, but he was definitely a solid number 2 opposite of Byron Maxwell. Okay. Now in 2014, they were ranked 32nd in the league, which they led the NFL in yards per game in 267 yards. They allowed 185 passing yards with 81 rushing yards. They allowed 313 completions, 254 total points, 3,200 total yards,
right there.
17 touchdowns, and just allowing under 16 points a game. 2015.
Now let me. I don't mean to cut you off here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those stats are great. Time of possession means a lot when you're saying those type of stats.
I was actually trying to get there.
On the opposite side of the
I
ball,
was actually trying to get there.
beast mode was there.
I was trying to get there, but thank you for cutting me off there. Thank you. I
Great minds
appreciate
think alike, you know?
it.
I'm ahead of the game.
Can you let me get there, please? Please let me get there. Okay. 2015, they were ranked 31st in the NFL. I'm just gonna blow by because now you done took my damn point. All right. They averaged 291 yards a game, allowing 277 points scored, and just allowed over 17 points a game. In 2016, they were ranked 28 in the NFL, allowing 18 points a game, 318 yards a game. Okay. Like I was trying to say, time of possession was really a key in last season. You don't have an established running game. You don't have an established line. Okay. So time of possession, yes, is going to be a very big key because when we look, like you said against Tampa, the whole game, Tampa was in that backfield. They got 7 sacks. The whole
all game.
Okay.
All game.
And another thing is, Russell Wilson was not healthy.
Yeah, and
Russell
not
Wilson
protecting him made it worse.
was playing injured, but because he has the heart he has, he did not want to. He wanted to play. He wanted to be on that field. Okay, that's him having the heart he had. And established running game. Thomas Rawls was hurt. They tried Christian Michael. He wasn't good enough, so they let him go. They signed the fullback running back guy. I can't remember his name. And because you don't have an established running game, the defense is either going to blitz you or they're playing past the whole game. And yes, Doug Baldwin has good numbers. I just don't think he's an elite wide receiver or a number 1 receiver. I just think he's like that because he's in Seattle. I think if you take him to another team, he would not be another number 1.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point, but I mean,
and also, I'm not trying to cut you off.
I know you're good.
You have a tight end and Jimmy Graham, who you need to keep on the line to help protect your quarterback, but he can't even block anybody. He can't. He can't. He's like James Harden. Who can you guard? Nobody. You're great offensively, but defensively though, like trying to block somebody, you're like a standing pole.
I think with Fat Man Eddie Lacy, shooting over to Seattle, I think the Seattle Seahawks will start coming back to their original form.
Mm-hmm. But they need help at the line, though. Because remember, once after they traded Max Unger, their run game has went down. Max Unger was the heart and soul of that offensive line, and he was the quarterback number 2 on that offense after Russell Wilson, calling out who's blitzing, who to get who, all of that extra line stuff that I'm not aware of because I don't play. So he was quarterback number 2 on that offense. After you traded him, where has your running game went? What's his name? Marshawn Lynch retired. Honestly, I think him retiring was the best decision he ever made for his own health.
Yeah.
Okay, how many times did he get the ball a year? Close to 300 times, over 300 attempts a year. Okay, and that was behind an established, stable line. Now you put him behind a line that can't do anything, and you want him to carry the ball 300 more times that year. Come on, the man won't. I don't even think the man will be able to make it to alive to see 35 years old. After taking pounding after pounding after pounding, I can't see it.
On the same token, I believe Marshawn Lynch would make these offensive linemen even better. Because even though he is a silent player, he is a killer player. I believe he strikes fear in a lot of people.
But one reason why I can't agree with that though, is because if your line isn't stable, and they're gonna blitz the whole game, what's gonna happen with a stacked eight? With a stacked 8 that you have to run against, you can't. You're not gonna get as lucky as you did against New Orleans in the playoffs and break 10 tackles to go
that's
40
his
yards
signature.
for a touchdown.
Beast mode.
How many more times
man.
you expect him to do that every single play to break 10 tackles for a touchdown every single play? With a stacked 8, you really think that's gonna happen? All you have to do is send 8 players, because we all know Seattle's a run-first offense. They literally like to go run ball with the first 2 plays. Depending on the yardage, they're going to run or pass.
I get your method. I get your point. But I still believe in beast mode. I'll put 8. You can put 9. That man angry, I wouldn't stay in his way. I wouldn't even want to tackle him.
Now, just think about if Ray Lewis was still in the league.
I love Ray Lewis a whole hell of a lot.
Players like Ray Lewis, if you still have players like Ray Lewis and Brian Urlacher in this league with just as much of a heart as him, as competitive, and that fire and drive as him, if you still had that,
Be scary.
I don't think I would take. Sorry, I'm a Marshawn Lynch fan, but I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't put my money on him.
Speaking of the Ravens, I believe they have a true talent in C.J. Mosley. That kid's special. Mm-hmm. I've always liked him since day one. So perfect guy to you're not gonna replace.
There's gonna be no ever.
You're never
gonna see another Ray Lewis.
You're never
gonna
see another Ray Lewis again.
And we're never gonna see another Brian Urlacher in this league. So
but he's the leader of. He's emerging as the leader of the Ravens defense.
Well, I want to give you guys one trivia question before we get out of here.
All right, last thing.
Since we're on Ray Lewis, what was the only running back to run Ray Lewis over?
The only running back to run Ray Lewis over?
Only running back.
I swear I seen a clip of this before, but I just can't remember.
Yeah, same here. I can't remember.
Wait. Do I get a break? Do I get to ask what team he played for?
If I give you the team, of course you're gonna get the name.
No, because a lot of teams run through running backs like there's no tomorrow in the league.
Tennessee Titans.
Eddie George.
Yep.
Thank you.
The only player to run Ray Lewis over.
Eddie George.
With a great stiff arm. That'll be your YouTube highlight of the night, ladies.
All right, well, that's it. So it's me and Josh signing off here with my brother Daniel Fantuzzi.
Thank you.
And again, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Swoop Podcast _
You made the change.
Yes, I made the change.
All right, my man. Dante's. I'll leave that up for you. That's you. I'm the intro. You're the outro.
And this is Josh and Dante signing off.
Swoop.
Swoop.
You gonna do it one time?
Swoop.